Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, especially because the buzz happening around here, music from People City. It's the Museum representing Toronto culture, music. How does it feel being here at this pop-up just over by the Tiff Bell Light Box?
First of all, it's a beautiful event right now. It's amazing. It feels wonderful, and I'm super honored to be here.
Okay, so you're running into people. I mean, Mishy, you were running into. What is it like when you're seeing a legend like that coming by and she's just like, hey?
I'm always and forever will be a fangirl. Like every time I see her, I'm like, it's so good to see you. I ran into her.
No, look at this. As we're talking about Mishy, look who's coming over here. Let me bring her in here. We were just talking about you, and then you come.
Saturday Night Live, and you just come in, the people them. Shot Tanika Charles, Tanika Charles, Tanika Charles. Follow Tanika Charles. I am gonna go walk back in the museum.
Girl, all the time. This is what
working.
But you see, this is what we're talking about. Here we are talking about her, and then here she comes popping up like.
Best. She's so wonderful. We ran into each other at the Junos this year, and it was just like I start to sweat. I start to freak out. This woman is a legend. I was raised listening to Mishy Me. I can't even tell you how beautiful it is to just be able to stand beside her, to be recognized by someone that I admire, and I've admired for years. It's wonderful.
Do you think about maybe somehow your music could be influencing that next person too? And then maybe 10, 15 years from now, I'll be real old, you'll still be young, but as we're talking, somebody else comes running up and going, you influenced me with your music.
I really don't know where this music is going to take me and or how it's going to affect anybody. I just hope that it's loved and people can take anything or what they need from it, whether it's, there's a long story behind the album. And I have a tendency to ramble when I answer questions because I seem to forget what you ask, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what am I trying to say? So basically, long story short, I would love it if the music...
Then let's talk about the history and how it all began for you from day one. When it all began and where?
Music all really fully began. I've always been interested in music. I've always been singing. My dad, I was raised listening to jazz, Spyro Gyra, Bob James. We would have dinner, and after dinner, my dad would have a glass of rum and coke, and then we would just listen to jazz. My older brother is a composer. He's an incredible writer. He's an amazing producer. My younger brother's a singer. My mom's a singer. Everybody's into music, but I didn't know that's what I wanted to do for a living. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until 2010 when I auditioned for a backup singing gig for Bedouin Sound Clash. That's when I was like, okay, maybe music is something that I'm going to do. And then I finally took it upon myself to do my own thing, and here we are.
But as an indie artist in Canada, it's not an easy thing to do. Talk a little bit of the struggles, if you want to put it in those terms, in trying to make a name and maintain a name for yourself.
I feel like that's a difficult question to answer because I don't want to come across as a negative person.
No, and this isn't about being negative, but this is talking the truth about it's for every victory, there's a struggle.
Absolutely. I just feel like there's a lot more work that has to be put in terms of, even as a female musician, and just kind of getting recognized amongst peers of people that have been around a lot longer than you have. Like I'm really often working a lot harder to just get recognized, if that makes any sense. I don't want to sound like that person. Now I'm going to Europe. I'm taking it overseas, and hopefully...
I'm going to stop you right there. You just said I'm going to Europe like it's nothing. Did you ever think as a child that you would be able to say, I will be performing in Europe. This is going to be part of my life.
No, I absolutely didn't think I'd be performing in Europe. I didn't think I'd be doing music at all.
So then what do you think was the drive that got you to where you were, Europe, the Juno Awards, and this album that we're just about to talk about in a moment?
Hard work. At the end of the day, grinding, communicating, and by communicating I mean like networking, just putting myself out there.
What's the new album?
The new album, Soul Run. You want to?
I love the fact that you just lit up as soon as I said, "What about the new album?"
Because it took 5 years a really long time, and there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes before its completion. And I love it because it kind of tells people a story about who I am and some of the things that I've gone through in my life. A lot of the writing that I did on it, all of the writing that I did on it are life experiences. It's true stories. So I find it a lot easier to write when it's something that I've lived. So it's just nice to kind of like express who I am and get people to know what this is about.
What's the lead single on it?
The lead single is Soul Run.
And what's that about?
Soul Run is about this relationship that I was in. I was living on a farm, and before I moved out here, and it wasn't really, it was a questionable relationship, and I just decided to pack my bags and finally leave after humming and hawing and knowing that it was an unhealthy relationship for me. Packed everything up, stole a truck, and left.
Will that truck end up in Vancouver, maybe? Will you be at the Junos this year, do you think?
I am going to be overseas this year, and I'm working on my new album this year. Sorry, next year, 2018.
Working. In the meantime, though, where can we follow you social media-wise so we know when you're in Europe, Vancouver, Toronto, or anywhere else around the world? Where do we go to follow?
You can go to tanikacharles.com. You'll find everything you need there. Tanika Charles 7 on Twitter, Tanika Charles Music on Facebook, tanikacharles.com.
So, congratulations on the success. Let's talk in 2018 with this new album. And I think Mishy's right behind you. You can go have some chats and drinks with her.
I will. Thank you so much.